Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS current affair analysis for 8th October 2020, and these are the couple of articles that we'll be dealing today. The first article for the day is taken from the Indian Express and it is titled Making AI Work for India. So recently Niti Aayog has come up with a national strategy for artificial intelligence, and this report is based on the intelligence task force headed by Mr. V. Kamakoti. So, with this announcement, the first formal acceptance that artificial intelligence will be playing a significant role in the future of our economy was recognized by the government. So, in this context, let us try to understand what exactly artificial intelligence means. Now, when we're talking about artificial intelligence, it is basically a way of making a computer or a robot or even a software performing human like tasks. That is, the emphasis is on human like tasks. That is the trademark or the hallmark of an artificial intelligence system. So, it refers to the ability of the machines to perform certain cognitive tasks. So, this is the hallmark of artificial intelligence. It was coined way back in 1956 itself, but it came into prominence in the recent times. So, there are two subsets under the umbrella of artificial intelligence, and one is machine learning. The next step is deep learning. So, machine learning is all about using algorithms to get data and learn from it. This enables making a determination or a prediction about something. So, this is machine learning. If you take the example of Amazon, whenever we search for a particular product, similar products will pop up in our search results. That is because of this machine learning. Now, deep learning is a technique to implement further the idea of machine learning. In this particular document, it was envisioned that AI should be useful in inclusive development. So, AI for all has been the strategy or the stratagem with which Niti Aayog has designed this policy and identified the core areas. Now, day before yesterday, RAISE 2020 summit happened. So, in this particular summit, our Prime Minister Modi has said that algorithm transparency is going to be very important, considering the fact that we'll be learning a lot about machine learning and implementing it in our day-to-day life. So, companies which are trying to leverage this artificial intelligence as a technology must ensure this algorithm transparency, because it is going to predict the future. Now, in this summit, we have to emphasize on another important aspect of AI, that is AI trained workforce and an emerging startup ecosystem. Every year we have nearly 3 lakh engineering graduates coming out of colleges and they enter into workforce. Now, the real challenge is to ensure that this workforce is actually equipped with the right kind of knowledge to handle tools that are driven by artificial intelligence. Now, this workforce will be the backbone of our India's startup ecosystem, and these startups will eventually turn into huge economies that would drive the future growth. So, this is the basis for this entire ecosystem and the ideology behind AI for all. What is more interesting about AI is it has a huge potential for solving a lot of problems across education. It has a potential to solve healthcare problems and healthcare delivery, and financial services and other domains which are very much integral to the development of our country. So, machine learning, which is based on the deep learning algorithms, can give insights to healthcare providers to predict about the future of patients. These kind of technologies are especially useful in preventing high cost treatments, like for example cancers. So, they will try to estimate the future progression of these diseases and will ensure that the cost of treatment significantly come down. Tamil Nadu happens to be one of the hub for India's medical tourism because of the advanced technologies that the hospitals in these state use. So, a lot of doctors in this hospitals are already using deep learning to predict the diabetic retinopathy, a condition which is very normal in patients with diabetes, and there is a severe shortage of eye doctors in Tamil Nadu. So therefore, to address this, they are leveraging the use of technology to handle this problem. Similarly, we have a case where ICMR has been deploying various AI based applications like Watson Assistant on its portal to respond to specific queries of the frontline staff. Even companies that are involved in R&D, say for example a drug's procedure and the process in which it works, drug identification, so all this are taking the help of artificial intelligence and deep learning. So we have applications even in that domain as well. The next domain that we can think of is water management. In a country that is extremely water stressed, where the demand per capita is increasing at the rate of 10% every year, we have a situation where northeast will be left with excess and the other parts of the countries will be left with less. So this is going to be a severe problem if we are not managing our water responsibly. And regions like Punjab, Haryana are using groundwater in a very discriminate manner, and this has led to exploitation of groundwater resources, and a lot of aquifers have actually dried up. Now what artificial intelligence can do is, with technology like fertigation, by including fertilizers with irrigation systems, if we can actually induce robotics and nanotechnology in them, what we can do is embed them with certain kind of sensors to actually identify the required nutrients and the amount of water. So this will lead to efficiency and will also significantly reduce the costs in the long term. Recently, Bihar has witnessed the positive results of the implementation of AI based weather forecasting patterns, where flood management became very easy because of this prediction, where it gave a forecast 48 hours very accurately, and they were able to manage this flood in a very efficient manner, in the absence of which the damage would have been multifold. Similarly, we also see a case where CBSE has been trying to integrate the artificial intelligence usage in the school curriculum, and it also tried to ensure that students passing out have a basic knowledge of artificial intelligence. So in this context, RAISE 2020 platform has actually brought forth the global experts in creating a roadmap for responsible adoption of artificial intelligence. Now we are in an era where China is investing $600 billion on 5G alone. So 5G is the actual fuel which will drive the vehicle of AI, because without data, Internet of Things will not work. So if China is investing $600 billion on a single technology, you can imagine the impact it will have. So it is imperative for India to mainstream this adoption of AI in every walk of life, because without this, the future economy cannot be imagined. So technology is often the progress of civilization. How we use this technology will also determine the future of our civilization. So adoption of new technology is a must for our country. That is the gist of this article. The second article for the day is taken from the Hindu, and it is titled Playing Catch Up in Flood Forecasting Technology. Now before starting this article, let us understand a simple concept called lead time. Now what is a lead time? So whenever there is a possibility of a flood event, the flood forecasting authorities will issue a warning that a certain flood will be hitting this region, and the disaster management authorities involved in that district should be taking care of the rescue operations. Now the time from the warning issue to the time when the flood actually hits, this time is called the lead time. Now in a emergency situation, the longer the lead time, the better. Now our disaster management and the response for a particular disaster will completely depend on this lead time. Ask any disaster management authority, the first thing that they would want to know is how much time they have. So the longer the lead time, the better the response plan. So in this context, we have to understand the shortcomings of our disaster management plans because of the lead time. Generally, when we are talking about flood forecast, we will be talking about IMDs. So IMD will be giving rainfall data, and it is actually the Central Water Commission which gives the flood forecast in a particular region. So the problem with the present model that was adopted by IMD for estimating the rainfall is it is very unpredictable, and at the same time the lead time it will ensure will be very low. Say for example, a district authority might get a warning that in the next 6 hours you have to evacuate the entire village in that particular geography, otherwise with the incoming flood everything will be inundated. So this kind of short lead times will lead to haphazard disaster management plans. So what this article is trying to say is, firstly, the lead time is small. Secondly, the uniformity across the country should be ensured with respect to the infrastructure required for ensuring longer lead times. So infrastructure problems spatially differing from one another is the major problem. In this context, when we are talking about infra, what are the technologies that we have to focus upon? Firstly, this article talks about the ensemble forecast model, which gives a particular forecast with a probability. So this gives a better picture and also a lead time greater than 48 hours, which will drastically change the way in which disaster management forces respond. So apart from this ensemble technology, we also have to focus upon a few other things like our computing power. One of the major requirement of IMD is this computing power. We have two supercomputers with a combined 6.8 petaflops of computing power. They are Pratyush and Meher. But the problem is they are not yet utilized on a full scale on the technological level required to completely use this potential. So if India can actually leverage this computing power, we can have a lead time of more than 10 days, which would drastically change the way in which we would be responding for any future events. So with the integration of this technological prowess in the institutions of flood forecasting, we also have to focus upon multiple agencies working together, because in an emergency time, when we are talking about district level administration, they have to get all the stakeholders on a relevant platform and act together. This coordination should have proper mock drills, and this coordination should ensure in efficiency. That should be the focus of our disaster management authorities. So in short, if we have to summarize this, what we have to do is reduce the lead time. That can be done through governance, technology, and timely activity. That is the gist of this article.